Hey guys, Tiny J here, and well, it is time, right? I am back from vacation. I am locked and loaded. I am ready to go for League Start. And well, this time I think I am going for a different class than what I traditionally often go. And so normally I go for a warrior, and I often go for a chieftain or a juggernaut. The reason why is I kind of like to make the lazy juggernaut or the chieftain cast when stun build, either one of them, as one of my first characters, if not my very first character in the league. That is why I often go for the warrior. However, with all the changes, all the information that we know so far, I know probably a lot of other people have went and probably noticed already that the Elementalist Golem is actually super insane. By the way, this is not a D4 video. I'm just memeing here for the thumbnail. And yeah, Golem is pretty damn good. So we are going to play Golem. We are going to be Elementalist. And eventually I would want to try and see if we can go for an AFK build that is Elementalist. Because right now, I think the class actually have insane defense for very little investment, and you can actually make like viable builds for AFKing, for example, Simulacrum much easier than we could have with the Juggernaut, because there are problems with the AFK Juggernaut, the cast when stun Juggernaut, if you want to do Simulacrum quickly, and there are also problems with the Chieftain version. If you want to take a look at the Chieftain version, super impressive. Look at Miracle's channel. I'll leave the link in the description below. His channel is always very fast on like League Start. He always get the cast when stun character going very quickly, and often showcase very impressive footage of the build. But I do think that both the Chieftain version from a Miracle, or anyone else really, and also my Juggernaut version for cast when stun, both have problems with damage. The Juggernaut basically have no damage in the Ascendancy. If you think about it, there is absolutely zero damage in the Ascendancy. It is just pure tankiness, and that is it. However, and also, by the way, the Chieftain also have problem with damage consistency. Why I say damage consistency? Because it actually rely very heavily on getting a big Chieftain explosion ignite to go off, and then you can get a lot of damage from that. But sometimes if you are caught in the situation where, for example, you AFK Simulacrum, there is a lot of problems with Simulacrum if you are left alone with the freaking Cosis. It is very annoying because your damage often is not enough to break through the Cosis energy shield in the last 3 waves or so. So it is going to be very annoying to deal with those situations, and sometimes it even like break your whole run or something. You have to go to another character if you want to kill it, for example. So those situations can be very problematic, right? So I think at the moment, with the right setup, the Elementalist can be as tanky or very close to a Chieftain or a Juggernaut with the right setup again, while also having a lot more damage. And so let's get a little bit more into the stuff that is related to this idea that I'm going to mention in this video. It is a long ass intro already, and we did not have get into the actual content of the video yet. So first of all, it is the Golem, and the Golems are heavily buffed this league with their buff to our characters. So the buff got buffed, which is kind of nice, right? So first of all, Flame Golem. Right now, it gives just some increased damage. It gives more increased damage. So I think it's went from 20% to now 19 to 20% at level 20 and 21. And now it actually gives 29% increased damage. Also, a fixed 20% AoE at all level of the Golems. Same goes for a lot of the other Golems as well. So I'm going to go through all of them. Chaos Golem is going to give chaos resistances. It no longer gives the physical mitigation, but that is kind of less important in this case. I will explain it a little bit when we go to the other stuff that is related to this build. And it also gives a shit ton of dot multi. 16% dot multi is the base value, and remember, we can scale all of these with Golem buff effect. Safeguard, this is the Stone Golem transfigured gem, so it is just another version of a Stone Golem. This one gives a special buff that gives you 15% of damage taken from a melee hit. This is a melee hit that is going to be taken by the Golem instead of you, so it just basically takes some of the damage for you instead of you taking the damage. And this guy is actually quite tanky. Stone Golem, so this is the normal version. It is going to give at level 20 105 regen. This is the same number as before. I don't see any changes in the patch note, but it can change. It may get buffed a little bit, or it may change a little bit, maybe get nerfed. I don't think that is going to be very significant. It also gives 20% defense, so yeah, just extra nice. Lightning Golem. This one is actually quite good because it gives first of all, before it gives 6 to 9% skill speed. Here I just used POE 2 term. It is very convenient, but it is attack and cast speed. So 10% skill speed now, so it is always 10% regardless of the level of the Lightning Golem. So this is extra nice, and it has a flat mana regen. Flat mana regen is super hard to get in the game. Actually super hard to get. The increased mana regen is going to scale off of this number. So if you want to do something with like cast when stunned, but you also take damage into your mana for some reason, like mind over matter, or you take half of the damage to your mana and the rest to your life, then maybe this will enable it, because this is a flat 18 mana regen per second. You can scale it with increased mana regen, mana recovery rate, and you can also have recoup and other stuff, but it just gives you a very nice base number of flat mana regen. You can utilize this one on like other build as well, where you can use to sustain your spellcast, and it just makes everything super nice in my opinion. The flat mana regen, you will feel it if you use the Lightning Golem early on in your leveling, especially if it is your first character where you have no gear, right? And the Ice Golem. This is probably the non-related one because it gives crit chance. Before it is 20 to 30%. Now it is 40% at all level. And it gives a bunch of flat accuracy based on the level. Before it is percentage. Flat accuracy, I mean, it is just straight better for most build if you are going to utilize the Ice Golem. But in my build idea, I probably will not use this one. Maybe all of the above, but the Ice Golem kind of do nothing. Maybe if I have like 6 or 7 Golem for some reason, I will probably use multiple safeguard, so yeah, they can just, if one die, the other one's still alive, and I still get the buff, I think. So, here comes the second part of the conversation. The buff for the Golem. So in the passive skill tree, you have 2 small nodes that give you 20% effect of buff granted by Golem, and 1 big node that is 40%. That is 80%. And you have the Leech of Primordial. So this one, I am not sure if it is going to stay with Leech of Primordial. There is no place in the patch note that said you will not have this line of 100% effects of buff anymore. If it is gone, then it is obviously worse, but if it is still 100%, I think this is super insane, because they say that they buff this to +2 maximum number of golems instead of 1. So yeah, we have just 100% increased effect of all of the golem buff. That is going to be super nice. Just these 2 sources from the passive skill tree and the Ascendancy skill tree, they already give 180% effect of buff. And of course, this is available to everyone. Quality. Everyone can have quality, so that is an additional 20% on all of the golems that I mentioned in previous. With the buff to your character, it is going to always be 20% buff with 20% quality. You can get extra for even more buff effect. And last but not least, the Primordial Eminence. This one is 30% increased buff effect for the golem buff. This jewel is normally the most common one, so I don't think it is going to be expensive. But even if it is expensive for some reason, if a lot of people is going for Golemancer, then, well, it's not the end of the world. It's just an additional 30%. It is not going to like make or break a build by any reason. It is nice, but it's not mandatory at all. So the total effect of all of these above is 230%. That is already a massive number. you multiply that by the actual number that we have just seen on the base. So it does not end there. In the end game, we also can go for Primordial Bond in the Cluster Jewel. Each of these notable is giving you 40% increased effect of buffs, along with, of course, 10% of damage per summoned golem. If you have like 5-6 golem, that is 50-60% increased damage over there. And of course, 40% effect of buff is going to give you like close to 10% damage, 4% skill speed, just a bunch of a little bit of chaos resistant, regen, just basically it gives you everything. A little bit of everything. 8% AoE, all of those stack up for each of these jewels that you have. So I think it is just super freaking insane if you can go for just a lot of buff for Golem. So with the 230% number, let's just look at some math here. Flame Golem is giving close to 100% damage, 66% AoE. Chaos is going to basically give you like half of your chaos resistance needed, if not more, and 53% dot multi. It is an insane more multiplier. If you're playing like Ignite build and Righteous Fires or yeah, those kind of thing, I am planning to do one of them, by the way. Spoiler alert. Safeguard is going to be a whopping 50% of damage from hits taken by the golem before you. Just an insane layer of tankiness. Stone Golem, 346 regen, 66% defense. Insane numbers. Lightning Golem, 33% skill speed, and close to 60 mana regen per second. If you have like 200% mana regen, it is very easy to get that number. You have like close to 200 mana per second, and you can get that number way bigger. So potentially a mana build or hybrid mana and life is going to be viable in this case, I think. Ice is going to give 132% crit and 1.4k accuracy close. All of these numbers are based on the level 20 golem number. You can buff it with the level 21 corruption. You can also have other support that improve the level of the gems or any other item that improve the level. So you can just have a lot more than this. This is not even the final number. It can go way higher, right? So about the Ascendancy. So obviously, beside the Golem that we are going to have, the Elementalist also got changed quite significantly. First of all is the Shaper of Flame. So it no longer grants you 25% more ignite damage, but it converts 40% of physical damage to fire on the enemy. So if enemy is dealing 100 physical damage, it is going to deal 60 physical damage and 40 fire damage to you. So the fire damage portion is going to be converted and then be mitigated by your fire resistant. So it is much more consistent than using like your physical mitigation. And of course, you can use it with the Chaos Binding Heavy Belt. This is a very cheap, very common item. It converts 25% of physical damage to fire because these two effects actually both happen on the enemy. They are going to be added on top of each other. So 65% of the damage enemies deal, if it is physical, it is already converted into fire. And I think with a Righteous Fire build, we obviously are going to stack 90% fire resistant. So we are going to be extremely resilient to physical damage regardless of what we do. Of course, we are going to have some armor or something else, but that is going to just help on top of this. This basically take care of the physical damage mitigation that we need. Super nice, basically for free. I think this is an insane investment, cost efficient, right? Shaper of Winter. This is you can get up to 40% chill. And 40% chill is equaling to 20% damage reduction. They actually nerfed this one before it go live. So before, in the initial reveal a few days ago, they actually just leave this the Shaper Winter node in an extremely broken state, in my opinion, it also increased the damage enemies take by whatever the chill amount that you are doing. So if you have, say, 40% chill, they are going to take 40% increased damage, which is a more multiplier, basically, and they are going to deal 20% less damage. Now they just cut the damage part. I think it is still pretty damn broken. Even though if you just say, I think the base number for chill for the Ascendancy Shaper Winter is 15% in the patch note, it is super easy to get some effect of ailment. So let's just say if you have the even 20, 25%, 30% chill, half of that is still going to be effectively damage reduction for all sources of damage, including all elemental damage, all physical damage, chaos damage, damage over time, damage on hit, everything that is from an enemy is going to be reduced by just half of your chill effect. So this is still an insanely good ascendancy for tankiness. So with this 2 ascendancy, this class suddenly become very tanky. With the Golem stuff, this class also have a lot of quality of life in terms of tankiness, because you have the damage taken with the Safeguard Golem. You also have a lot of regen. You also have a lot of chaos resistance. So early on, you can use a lot of uniques, and you cap all your resistances much easier. So basically, it is just a lot of quality of life and also a lot of power just packed into this ascendancy. And of course, Shaper Storm is still very easy to do for just extra damage. You have a minimum of 25% shock, and yeah, just it's super easy because you apply shock on hit. You don't care about how much damage you are doing. Enemies always just be shocked and take at least 25% shock effect. And again, if you go for chill and shock, you are going to scale the ailment effect by a little or a lot. Then this can go to 40%, 50% very easily. So yeah, I think it is just very good. So anyway, about the idea for the build, I have not get like a POE or anything like everyone else. I just got back from my vacation, and yeah, I have not have time to work on everything into the details, and I don't like to do it anyway. Just to be clear. Anyway, I think I'm going to start as an Ignite build, and I think the idea is probably going to be FrostBlink Ignite. So I will probably go ahead and rewatch some of the Subtractum's video before, when he make very good videos on the FrostBlink Ignite in previous league, and I will base on that to like make my character with all the changes here. This is drastic changes, and probably require drastic change in items and how we build the character, but I think I can learn a lot from those. I forgot basically everything about that build that I watched before. I watched it once. I should watch it again. Anyway, the FrostBlink is going to allow me to get chill very consistently, because it creates chill ground, and chill ground you can still scale it with the chill effect or ailment effect. So we always have chill around the character. You obviously can have other sources of chilling or chill ground as well from a lot of skill. Vortex, what is the other frost skill that get a bunch of chill ground or chill area, and you can always just reliably chill enemies very quickly and very easily, right? So even though we are dealing ignite damage, we are going to take shape of flame, so we are going to be tanky if we ignite enemy, which are going to be always, right? Shape of flame, always ignite. Shape of winter, and we get chill ground, so we always chill an enemy. And maybe I will take Shape of Storm as well for just easy more damage. Of course, I am going to take the freaking Golem node, so we get a lot of buff from the Golem. That is actually just 4 Ascendancy, and from all that we know right now, that is 8 points that we can take. None of them are requiring any extra Ascendancy nodes before them, so it's just straight up, I think it's a very solid plan. So there are potentially a couple of problems with that kind of setup, because all the Golems, if they die, you lose the buff until they are resummoned. even if the Leech of Primordial still keep. Let me just go back to the Leech of Primordial here. I think we have the Leech of Primordial here. Summon golems are resummoned 4 seconds after being killed. In that duration of 4 seconds, you are not going to have any buff of the golem, so you are not going to have these insane numbers if they die, right? So I think if eventually we go to a cast when stunned setup, I think I am going to go for a bunch of cast when damage taken setup. Why am I going for cast when damage taken? I think I am going to link golems, all the golems, to the same level cast when damage taken. So when I take enough damage, which I think it's going to be faster than these guys are going to die, I am going to recast them already. I don't need to rely on the self-revival. So I think putting every single one of them on the same level of cast by damage taken means at once when I reach the threshold of a certain amount of damage taken, I am going to summon all of these golem again. I think that is going to probably be the best way to reliably get all the golems to just be present all the time. We will need to test it later on. I don't know if it is going to be good enough, but we need to just really test in game on if the setup is going to be good enough, right? So that is going to be the idea to solve the consistency of all the golem buff for me. Probably it is not going to die a lot if you just FrostBlink ahead of yourself. The golem might just lag behind and they don't even die to anything because you kill everything in front of them. But if you eventually, or I eventually want to go for an AFK cast when stun build with the golem buff, of course I am going to need to spend at least 2 4-links to do the cast when damage taken with all the golem here. And when I want to stay AFK in like Simulacrum and those kind of stuff, I will need to do the cast when damage taken for sure. If not, they're going to randomly die. And if, for example, if I drop the chaos resist buff, then that is going to be painful, because maybe if your damage, your AoE, they are going to be, you lose them sometime. It's not going to kill the character. But if you lose a defense that you are using for like capping your resistances, or if you are relying on this regeneration in order to get like sustain your righteous fire and also recover your life in some cases, then I think you are going to be in trouble if some of them dropped off. Safeguard is a very powerful layer of defense against melee hits, so if they drop off, you suddenly take a lot more damage. And so all of these is just ideas. I think I am going to try and maybe it's time to do some test run before with the POE 1 before we actually get into the league. But yeah, anyway, here is the current idea. And yeah, is there any other one that I kind of want to mention in this video? Okay, here is another thing. Take no burning damage if you stopped taking burning damage recently. This one is a actually very, very nice line for Righteous Fire. So this is, I think this is very powerful because take no burning damage, you still are burning. It does not stop your Righteous Fire from going. So I have an idea that if you stack just enough reduce ignite duration on your character, and I think that is actually very easy if you want to do because you can have a crafted roll on your ring, or you can have a like influence roll. I don't remember exactly which one, but there is an influence modifier that gives you reduced ignite duration on your character. And if you get that at like 9%, 49, 19, you can easily stack a bunch of tattoo that is going to give you just eventually enough to get 99% reduced duration of ignite. So any ignite that is, even if it's like normally is 4 seconds, so 4 seconds, 99%, it is basically is going to, when you get ignite, it is just going to fade away immediately. And that means you stop taking burning damage from that particular ignite, which will trigger this effect. So basically, if you keep getting ignited, you will always take no damage from burning. You will take damage for a brief moment, and then it will go away. So I think that can be very powerful for Righteous Fire. So Righteous Fire cast when stunned eventually. And yeah, before that, I think the FrostBlink Ignite Elementalist is going to be an absolute easy win, because it is already proven to be strong. It didn't get nerfed in any way. It basically got buffed in multiple ways as well. So yeah, I'm very excited to play this one. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you really enjoy, and yeah, see you in the next video. Peace. Remember, playing the game, do not let the game play you.